Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Reference Desk. Today I'm sitting down with Aiden, Lucas, and Kellen from Flashback. Unfortunately, Jake was not able to join us, but 3 out of 4 ain't bad. So we're going to jump right into the interview. Here on the Analog Universe, we like to ask the hard-hitting questions, the really important things that our viewers really want to know. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good. Happy to be back here.
Hard-hitting questions like what your favorite flavor of dice is?
That from the Balrogath episode. Yeah, actually, that was a question from chat. So that is actually a really good point to remind everybody watching at home. This is also a fan Q&A. So if you guys have questions, I'm watching the chat. If you have just like something you need to know about Flashback, hit it up in the chat and I can relay it to these guys. But to kick us off, you guys have a brand new album out, The Draconic Oath. Is now available on Bandcamp and all the places that streams are strummed.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Awesome. Would you say what would you say is the big differentiator between the Draconic Oath and your previous album? Was it Heathen of Influence?
Yeah. This album was sort of an interesting foray into sort of a new scope for us. I started to write ideas for it kind of at the start of COVID, and I was locked up and we were all locked up and we had nothing else to do, so I just was writing and we all were sort of I don't want to say angry at the world because that sounds really emo, but just in terms of us being frustrated with the situation and just not to take a side, just in terms of just the state of everything, right? And
lots to be angry about. Like,
yeah,
you guys launched Heathen of Influence, what, 2020?
Yeah,
Spring 2020?
So
it was like in April of 2020.
Yeah, great time to release an album.
Yeah, so like we didn't really get the press that we wanted to with Heathen, but when we went to start to write Draconic, we were like, let's make a really hard-hitting record. I think that the biggest sort of difference would be that it's not a stoner rock record. And I think that I certainly in the past couple of years have sort of kind of had an issue with that label, just in terms of there's a lot of bands that are putting out cookie cutter albums that sound really similar, and it's there's a formula of like orange amps and SGs, and you play low and slow, and I love that, but we kind of wanted to do something that was not like that, had hints of that, but it was still like very much its own thing. So there's a lot of like thrash influences and sort of experimental, like psychedelic influences in there. And I think that we sort of made a record that we thought was sort of different in the genre, I guess, even though it was, I mean, we're not reinventing the wheel by any means, but like, I think that there is a pretty good measure of originality in it, which is cool.
Definitely digging deeper into more influences than just Caius and Orange Goblin.
And it also helped when Jake joined too, because like when we had all the stuff for Heathen and we were like in the process,
it was already written before.
It was already
Jake joined,
written, and he just hopped on to record it.
Yeah.
Kellen wasn't on
Heathen, so
we actually had the first 4 songs from this record with our old bass player Gabe. We had them like written and everything, and then he quit when we were going to go record them. So we were like, screw it, let's find a new bass player and let's just re-record everything. Like, let's get it down to just the 4 of us instead of having the older influence. But Jake's influence helped with like making this thrashier and like also helped
more
push us.
Yeah, just
it helped
more
push us a bit
classic
more
sounding.
too.
Like I think there's not enough bands out there nowadays that sort of blend that style of heaviness with like guitar harmonies, and like it can go from sounding like Orange Goblin to Thin Lizzy, like and I like that, and I like that it's sort of that sort of style. And because I mean I grew up before I obviously knew about stoner rock, like I was listening to Maiden and Priest and like Thin Lizzy and
Motorhead.
Like Motorhead, all these classic bands, right? And so like that's kind of where my sort of love for heavy music started, and so it's like we love to sort of bring those classic influences in, especially having 2 guitar players where you can do like some dual harmonies and stuff. I think that adds a lot.
Okay.
When I was looking to audition for the band, and then they sent me the 4. It's the first 4 tracks off Draconic. Yeah, we kept them in order.
Yeah.
On the release. Yeah. Hearing those first 4 tracks is like, I like Heathen of Influence. There's definitely some awesome songs. Same with Persistence. But yeah, those first 4 songs, like, oh, I really want to be a part of this.
Yeah, and nice. I think all of us were really stoked immediately. Like I think in the writing process we were getting really stoked on it, and it was sort of like, wow, this is kind of, at least for me, and I think Lucas can attest to this too. It's like kind of sort of the record that we wanted to make from the beginning, but we just needed to go through the motions first, you know, of like figuring stuff out, and then when we were sort of trying to put stuff down in terms of material, we kind of came across this kind of sound, and we're starting to put the songs together, and it was pretty effortless in the arrangement of things, and I think we were all like really stoked on it immediately, you know, and we were like, this is exactly what we want, you know.
Right. So like with Heathen of Influence, it sounds like that was like your, all right, let's kind of figure this whole process out, and then for the Draconic Oath, it's like, okay, we know what we're doing now. Let's do this the right way.
We kind of started with Heathen of Influence going at it more with like a stoner rock mindset, but with this one, it's just like, let's see what cool riffs everybody has, and let's just try and mash them together in something. Like we have one song on the record that's like 10 minutes long because we were like, oh, these riffs are so great. We can all make them flow together, even though it is 10 minutes. But I mean, so much fun to play. And then all the other songs too, like everything just melds and meshes really well together.
Yeah, it keeps it interesting. And I think that when you're drawing from different places, you know, it makes the record have more exciting things on it, you know, especially because like when I'm writing stuff, I'll be heavily influenced by what I'm listening to, and I'll go through phases of like listening to certain things, and that obviously influences the way that I write. So it's like, you know, when you can listen to a bunch of different music, then you're going to come up with wacky shit because you are in that space and you can just sort of pick and choose things from different places, you know, and I think that that's kind of what happened on the new record, which I'm very happy at the way that it came out for sure.
Awesome. So I'm going to draw attention to the album art now, which is absolutely incredible. I love it. It's great. Tell me about it. Who'd you guys get to do this?
It was Alex. Was it Remember the Tooth? That's
on Instagram.
That's her username. Like with underscores in between the 3 words.
Local Calgary tattoo artist.
At Remember the Tooth on Instagram.
At Remember _the_tooth.
But Alex absolutely killed it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. And how'd you guys find Alex?
Album art for this one was a bit of a process. We went through a couple different versions of it when sort of had talks about it, and so we had an original version, and then we kind of scrapped that idea, and then we had another one which we still have, which we might use, we may not use, and I think Jacob basically just was trying to spearhead the whole thing and was just like, I'm just gonna message some people, and he messaged Alex, and immediately she drew this up, and we were like, okay, this is really cool. This is the one, you know.
Very Frazetta.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely getting some heavy metal vibes.
Yeah, it's I think it sort of is a good representation of the music. Like it's, you know, it's spacey and heavy, and you know, the skulls, there's some booty on it. There's a sword.
Some.
There's a booty. Actually, it's funny on like the 666 Mr. Doom YouTube channel. Like they posted the album and they were like,
half the comments
were like, wow, that chick's got ass. So I'm like, that's pretty awesome.
No, we absolutely love the album art. It looked awesome in black and white when we got it, all stipply and whatnot. And then we got Haley to friend of the band to do some coloring. It was initially very vibrant, and we definitely had to we dialed it back.
It's pretty subtle.
Very happy with the end result.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. All right, so the liner notes in the album, I noticed this one thing, and I was curious about it. In the liner notes, you can find, and I quote, all songs with the exception of track 7 recorded in July of 2021 at an undisclosed location, Alberta, Canada.
Piss Lake.
It's Piss Lake, man.
Excuse me?
Piss Lake.
Yes. Yeah, we had this running joke. So we got inspiration where we were like, why don't we just go somewhere out of town and record this thing? And my parents just so happen to have a place outside of Calgary that we could go to. And we set up everything in like the living room. So like, usually you walk in, there's couches and there's a kitchen, but there it was just stacks of amps and whatnot. But Aiden recorded the whole thing when we were there, and we spent like 5 days or something. And like if we were having troubles with a song or we were stuck on something, it's like, let's go down to the beach and go have a beer and chill out.
It was pretty sweet. Nice. I think the selection of that location was sort of based upon the ability to just have us there and not have to leave and do it in one shot, because obviously we work full-time jobs. So, you know, we kind of had to book the time off for it, but to do it in town isn't as fun when you can be out and feel like you're on vacation at the same time. And that's kind of what happened. We took 2 vans full of all of our gear. I think we took 10 guitar heads and
took 3 vans.
3 vans.
Yeah. My van.
Yeah.
Jacob
I was the only guy that
van.
didn't take a van out.
And Lucas's van.
And we took like 10 guitar heads out, and, you know, just a bunch of guitars and pedals and stuff like that. And we just experimented, and it was just nice to be able to do it and not feel pressured to get anything done that day, even if it was just like, oh, like we just want to like go throw frisbee in the lake, like we could do that, and we did.
And then we lost.
And then we lost like 3 frisbees. But it was just, you know, the sort of layout of his parents' cabin is really awesome, because the sort of main area has vaulted ceilings and so it's a great room to track drums in. Really great room. Sounded really great.
And then
everything else was just like all the cabs were in the same room, and then we like tracked vocals in a closet or something.
Yeah, that was the only thing. There's a severe lack of a vocal booth, so we ended up going to like the utility closet where the furnace was, and just like hanging up some blankets, and
it was very DIY.
Made it work.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of like doing it that way. You know, it's obviously like it's, you know, going to a studio. There's something to be said about it, but I enjoy just kind of like making it work, you know, and just like. Bringing, because it's like, you know, especially with in this day and age of recording, you can get really close to something that sounds good, more with technique than anything, and with good gear. And if you have that, then you're pretty much laughing at that point. So
rent some extra long equate. And another thing, like when you're at a studio, like any wasted time, like let's go down, let's walk down the block, grab some shawarmas and walk back. That's you're burning money, man.
We didn't pay for studio time, which was nice, and so
you can take that money and rent better equipment.
And also, like that being said, we didn't track everything that you hear on the record is not all in that one session. We did have to go back and do some overdubs and stuff, but it was usually like, you know, like one-off days or something, and then, you know, it didn't take very long. But the main tracks, all the vocals, most of the guitar solos, all the bass drums and rhythm guitar were all done at Piss Lake. And we call it Piss Lake because the water was warm like piss. And we may have been under the influence of something while we said it, but you never know. I'm not going to disclose anything. I'm not going to shoot myself in the foot.
Joke of the whole weekend, but my parents were like, you can't really like tell people where this place is, so we're like, oh, it's just Piss Lake. That's what we
I'm really glad the water I'm drinking is cold right now.
It's not warm like piss.
Tricks your brain into thinking it's something else. No apple juice here.
No, really, it's a really cool lake. You can walk out meters and meters and meters, and you'll get waist deep at most. It was a great place. Really awesome place. Big thanks to the McLeod family for letting us do that.
Hopefully they're watching, or else I'll pass it on.
And then obviously it says all tracks with the exception of track 7.
Nemesis.
So we had so track 7 is Nemesis, which we released as a single in 2022. Which was on a compilation on Wasted Wax Records, which we got asked to do by the label. And we originally had sort of the riffs for Nemesis before we went into the studio. And then we didn't have enough time to really record it or to sort of get something concrete. Right. And so we had the idea, and then we got asked by Wasted Wax if we wanted to do a song, and we were like, hey, let's do this new tune. And so we quickly wrote it and then recorded it in our jam space, and I mixed and mastered it, the first mix, and then we obviously got it remixed on the new album version, which is the same version but it's just remixed.
Olaf from
Enforcer. Olaf Wickstrand
killed it.
He did a really good job on the mix. It's kind of weird going back and forth with him because he's in Sweden. So like I was having to like message him, and we'd all be like in different times and stuff. But he definitely did a really good job on the sound of the record. I'm really happy, and it's the first time too that we've done an album that's not been mixed by me, which is what was also kind of a weird, interesting experience as well.
Right. I was actually going to ask with the previous album. was recorded at, according to the line notes, Black Lung Studio.
Yeah, so that was our original jam space, kind of where the band started. Lucas's dad owns a shop, and he had like a back room in there, and we kind of converted it into a studio, and that was kind of like our home base for a long time, until he had to unfortunately leave. But we recorded our first record there. We recorded Persistence there. We recorded Heat of Influence there. We did 2 music videos there. Like we did quite a lot there. 3 music videos actually, sorry. And so that was our home base for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like from one DIY location to another.
Pretty much.
Just studio onto.
It's just to make yourself sound like you're really cool.
It was a pretty professional setup.
It was not bad. It was not bad. There was actually like a control room and a main live room, and there was glass, and you know, like there was separation and stuff, which was cool. But that's kind of been the theme of this band ever since the beginning, is just DIYing it. And I think that was sort of out of necessity because we were in high school and couldn't be like, here's $5,000 to go record an album.
I was the only one with a car at that point.
Yeah, like
jamming,
Lucas
so
used
a
to
car or
a
van.
A van.
Well, he started early.
But I was the one like driving all of us to the jam space after school.
After school on Friday, we would go jam.
On Friday, we'd go jam.
Yeah,
and then their parents would pick them up. I'd drive home, stuff like that. Yeah. But yeah.
So curious. You said you brought. Sounds like way more gear than necessary to record Draconic Oath.
Yeah.
What would you say is like the combo that you found like may have surprised you, like ended up being like your silver bullet for sound?
To be honest, you know, talking at least on the guitar standpoint, because I obviously that's what I play. Jake and I sort of know what we like, and we have. Sorry, I'm gonna take these off because it's just weird. I obviously know what we like, and we just have a bunch of amps that we just cycle because they all kind of suit our purpose. But we just brought a bunch of stuff out just because we could, and also because, you know, when you're just inspired to plug into this and you're, I'm gonna plug into this, and it's just, you know, if it can just slightly, you know, change a little tone on an album or something, and it just makes it so that you're not recording the whole thing with one amp, you know.
Your Laney was up and running at that time.
It was, yeah. I think for my main rhythm tracks, I used an orange OR50, which was Jake's, and my Laney AOR Pro Tube lead from the 80s, mid 80s, and 2 orange 412s.
Oh. I know some of those words.
Yeah.
For any of you gearheads out there.
So Our big friend of the band, Tremaine Wahlberg, also, he's a huge orange collector. He lent us, orange and vintage gear. He also lent us a original
Space Echo, Roland Space Echo. Yeah, that's all.
Tape.
Yeah, the actual tape unit.
Tape snake. It was really cool.
I use that all over my tracks just because it's just the coolest thing ever, and it was really cool to use. But yeah, I mean, I guess to answer your question, I think, you know, we obviously brought way more than we need, but I mean, when you're in the studio, there's no such thing really, because I think that
Tone hunters.
Yeah, I think that, you know, when you're trying to find a certain sound because you hear it in your head, and it doesn't necessarily, because that's what I think happens a lot of times, is like, when we're like listening back to what is already is down on tape, when we're like actually listening to it, and we go, okay, we need this here, but we need it to sound like this, right? And then you just end up tweaking knobs and trying pedals and plugging in amps and stuff, you know, just to see what sounds good, and then you're like, oh, that's the sound. And so it's just like not limiting yourself. I mean, there is something to be said about trying to limit yourself and just kind of use what you have, but we kind of splurged a little bit, and it was nice just to be able to not have to worry about, you know, that.
We also had the room to splurge. We got 2 big dumb vans and a medium-sized dumb van.
Yeah.
But also like there's like the difference between studio and live sounding stuff too. Like you guys don't use the same rigs for live when you're playing. My
rig, well, my rig's pretty similar live, but obviously, when you're in the studio, it's kind of more expanded on your live sound, but it's just kind of what fits in the mix, and like finding a balance too between like my tone and Jake's tone, and we're not clashing with each other and stuff. And so
it's easier to find that stuff in the studio and make it work that way instead of fixing it in post. Even though I love to say, "Oh, fix it in post."
It's a joke.
No one likes to fix it in post.
It's not good, but Yeah, I think that we did a pretty good job. The bass sounds very thunderous. The drums sound great. All the vocals sound great. All the backing vocals sound great. Everything sounds great. I'm really happy with it.
Yes.
And we found the good sound at the source, which was important, you know.
Yeah, I think I was running 3 bass amps at once.
Yeah, you
So
were.
you have like 4 inputs or something like that.
Well, if you include DIs, I think it was 5 bass tracks whenever I'd track, because one of them was pretty useless. It was like an old trainer amp I was trying to use, like an old trainer combo I was trying to use.
There was a little bit of that in there,
but yeah, I had my acoustic rig, and then I had a GK 800 into my Ampeg fridge, and then also a little 115 trainer tube combo.
Yeah,
and then clean DI, like pre pedals, clean DI, and then post pedals, dirty DI, and then the 3 mics. It was having the options to blend and pick and choose.
That's kind of the other thing too, is that you kind of need to take more than you need, because whoever is mixing it can use certain things if it works in the mix better. But it's funny because when I was talking to Olaf, he's like, "There's so many fucking tracks on here. I don't know what to do." I'm like, I don't know, dude. Put them all in. I don't know what to say. So I'm like, if you can put them all in and make it sound good and full and heavy, then that's all I care.
And you're not sure how the room's going to react to what normally sounds good in your jam space, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And then for drums, that was like the first time I used my old vintage Ludwig kit. It's a Vistalite, so I think it was from 1978.
Yeah,
like Black Smoke, something like that. But
when you guys say flashback, you mean it.
Oh yeah, literally.
Vintage gear is fun.
We love the vintage gear, but those drums sounded wicked. This is like the first recording that I used them for. Like all the other ones, I just had a crappy DW kit that my parents got for like my 16th birthday, you know, but this new kit sounds awesome. Like I only really use rides as crashes. Because I like that big cymbal sound. I think my ride's like 24, 22 inches, something like that. So I don't know, that's my usual setup.
Nice. Okay. Francis, could you pull the image up? I'm going to just show you guys using my tablet here. So you guys posted this image of you guys recording the music video, I believe.
For
Spirit River. Which is wasn't the first single you guys put out.
No, Nemesis was, because we had put it on Wasted Wax compilation.
So I mean, this space looks super cool. Can you tell me, like, where did you guys do this?
That's at Dynamite Studios, run by Johnny Vincent. It's up in the northeast of Calgary. If you're a local Calgary band, I'm sure you have heard of or have jammed there.
He's got rehearsal rooms. He's got a really awesome studio.
A bunch of rehearsal rooms downstairs and upstairs, and then he's got this studio space, and that's actually where they are running High Voltage TV out of, which Cam and Johnny are doing stuff for. It's on Telus, and then it's also on stream. They do a bunch of live streamed videos. We actually did one of my first performances with Flashback.
Yes, we did
upstairs at Dynamite.
Yeah, it was for the Electric Highway Digital Detour with Gone Cosmic and Set in Stoned.
Yeah, because the Electric Highway Fest, again, another just like.
I mean, I've had them on the show, guys.
Yeah.
We can gush.
But yeah, I mean, it was awesome doing it with Johnny. He has a big green screen. And kind of from the beginning, we were like, let's just do like, you know, old school, like late 60s, early 70s bad green screen video. Because I love all those videos. Like, a la, like, you know, Electric Citizen, Light Years Beyond, that video is awesome. And like, there's like an Electric Wizard video like that. And, you know, just.
Obviously, Black Sabbath.
Sabbath back in the 70s. You can see old videos of Sabbath on the green screen with all the oranges. I don't know, I just was kind of like that, but then we also kind of got some visuals done by Palantir Visuals on Instagram.
Well, that was our end game before we even started filming. We found that guy because he had done some live visuals for Elder when they did a stream during the pandemic.
And just I liked his visuals and kind of how trippy they were, and so it was like, let's make this an old green screen video, but like the VHS tape has sat in the sun for too long and it's all glitchy, and I think we achieved it. So it was really cool.
Palantir Visuals knocked it out of the park. When it comes to
he did so
he did all the edits too.
All the edits. And it was filmed by Nate, our good buddy Nate Trash.
Don't forget Ryan.
And Ryan was on the camera as well. Those two guys killed the filming of it as well. yeah, every time I watch the video, I'm like, wow, this is cool. We did this, like, you know. So it's a cool feeling.
Yeah, it was a fun experience. I haven't really done a music video before, and just going through the motions, hearing the song 15 times in a row, and
trying to line
that was sort of
playing. And
it was very loud in the room because he had to actually hit the drums in the video, so it looks like he's not just like getting air. So it was all very loud in the room, and we had to listen to the song like 25 times that day. But we got it done. I locked my keys in my car at the shoot.
Yeah,
that happened. But we got it fixed. It's all good. But yeah, it was a long day, but it paid off. It was very good.
6-7 hours or so.
Yeah, it was a full day of work, pretty much.
No,
so
yeah, big shout out to Nate's, and there's some growing pains for sure on like everyone's part. It was like it wasn't our first music video, but it was our first time trying to do something like that.
Something as pro as that. You know?
Everything else has been real DIY. With Flashback.
And Nate said that he was still trying to like get some stuff figured out. He just bought like a brand new camera. But he was like, that first music video shoot helped me learn so much, and he could still get the files out. And like you saw the video, even though Palantir like, you know, trashed it up a little bit, it's still pretty crisp and clean.
Yeah, you can still see everything that's happening.
And believe me, I know the struggles of new gear.
Yeah.
About a half hour before you guys were showing up, we were trying to figure out how do we do the presets on these cameras again.
Nate did all the filming, and then all the edits and all the visuals was Palantir.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. Now I've seen a couple footage from I think not necessarily the first time you guys played, but last month you guys played a neat little venue that's bit out there. It's a motorcycle custom shop.
Ill-Fated Customs.
Yeah. How does that work?
I think that they just wanted to start doing shows. They obviously by trade do like custom bikes and stuff like that. And then they have kind of a little offshoot area with like a liquor license and stuff, and then they just have bands in there with the stage and
they got a wicked little lounge. The front of the store is closed off that night, but they got like a gear shop, and like you can order in parts at the front and like get gloves, get jackets, anything motorcycle gear adjacent you can buy in the front. They also got a little coffee shop out front, and then in the center they got a rad lounge full of vintage gear,
like lamps and
really
like
cool
just
place.
Really cool, like all the decor is really old school,
and then from there, and it's got a bunch of windows and you can see into the motorcycle shop, and they got some really rad bobbers and
old school choppers and stuff. Yeah.
Now it's kind of off the beaten path. It's in the middle of an industrial area because it is a custom shop, not too far away from the old Distortion bar.
It's pretty close to Long and McQuaid though. Like, it's not that far off the beaten path.
It's true.
It's Manchester industrial. It's not like it's out in Foothills industrial.
I do mean though, as far as like live music venues go.
It's not on a main road. You know,
it doesn't have a bus that runs by it late at night. How does one kind of keep tabs on what's going on?
Follow them on Instagram, pretty much. I mean, like, and I think that they've kind of made a big enough name for themselves that at this point they're sort of a known venue now. So I feel like a lot of people are sort of gravitating towards Ill-Fated whenever there's something going on. So, you know, just keep, if you're plugged into the scene and you're kind of have a brief, slight awareness of what's going on anyway, then you'll usually see if Ill-Fated is having a show, and you just gotta follow them on Instagram because they promote all their shows.
We also had a lot of help with the Roadrunner Vintage Market too that night. Bastion Burger pop up. Like they were making burgers out in that coffee
killer burgers,
that coffee booth or whatever out front. So people were eating in there, and then coming inside where the bands were, and in the bike shop they just had a little section for the Roadrunner Vintage stuff. And
it was actually what's her name?
Ashley
from Roadrunner Vintage. It wasn't the motorcycle shop that set the show up. It was Ashley from Roadrunner Vintage. They have a shop on northbound McLeod, like 10th. Between 10th and 11th.
It's like on McLeod Trail, right?
Yeah. Right
if you're going
into
north.
Downtown. Yeah. We did a photo shoot there, and Jake, who's MIA tonight, he's good friends with her. So she wanted to do a pop-up and asked if we could play, and then we recruited Buffalo Budbuster, who killed it.
They were great.
So help us out. That was a really awesome show.
It was a lot of fun. It's nice when you can sort of do stuff like that. That's not your typical show. You know, like have a burger thing and a clothing thing and kind of a couple bands playing and stuff. It kind of brings all of the different art forms together in some weird way, which
there's
is
people
cool.
that were there just for the vintage market too.
Yeah,
there's some people who came just for the burgers too.
Yeah,
there's that too.
Yeah.
Like,
but that brings in traffic.
But it's
too,
good exposure for
Yeah.
everybody too. Like I knew, like we had friends that came by who were there for us, and we were like, "Oh, there's burger pop up here." I'm like, "Yeah, get one." Like they're delicious.
Oh, yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah. It's like a smash burger with grilled onions, double patty, cheese, lettuce.
Shout out to Dan Neild
and Ted.
And Ted. Yes,
Yeah.
they are the masterminds behind Bastion Burger. Very good.
And just for anyone who happens to be like maybe Googling out there, Ill-Fated Customs, that's Customs with a K.
Customs with a K.
Customs
Yep.
IFK.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So if I'm not mistaken, there are some pronounced age differences in this band.
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't want to tell these guys how old I was when I joined the band.
Yeah.
And so like how did Kellen? Are you is Jake older than you?
No, I am the oldest one in the band.
Kellen's the daddy.
But you're also the latest member in the band.
That's true.
So how did you connect with these young whippersnappers?
So the plague hit, and my previous band my previous rock band Bazaraba kind of fell by the wayside. Just life got in the way, and as it does when there's a global pandemic. So yeah, it was okay, and I was okay just hanging out and just playing in my death metal band or doom band's Merc at the time, and then there was a big stoner rock shaped hole in my heart. Saw these guys were looking for a bass player, and I reached out. Quickly.
The rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah,
I'm here now.
I vividly remember actually where I was when Kellen sent me the message. I was at work, and I was having a really terrible day, and I knew of Kellen. I wasn't friends with him at the time because like I would like see him at shows all the time. Be like, oh, he's from
we played a show with Bazaraba.
Yeah, we did, but I still like didn't converse with Kellen prior. And then I remember him sending me a message. I'm like, why is Kellen sending me a message? Oh, he wants to be in my band. That's cool. And I was like, and then instantly I was like, yeah, he's probably the guy. So
I also didn't. I knew Flashback was a new band, and new to the bar scene at least. Like I know they've been doing stuff since high school.
Yeah,
but I knew they were a new band. I didn't realize quite how young they were.
yeah.
But I had also heard stories that they told Jake that no, you can't join our band. You're too old. So I definitely waited till I was in the band before I told them how old I was. I'm only 33, but in comparison,
yeah. And that story is definitely true. Jake did come to us when we were a 3-piece long time ago, and was like, yeah, like, you guys looking for a guitar player? We're like, you're kind of old for us, sorry. And now he's in the band and like one of my best friends. So it's like kind of.
To be fair, you guys were in high school when he asked to join.
It's true,
band.
yeah.
I was starting my first year of university, and he messaged me. He's like, I'm 27. And I'm like, what?
Yeah,
I'm 19, dude.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you guys got a cool thing going on.
Yeah. Well, especially like, you know.
Age is just a number. It's all about the rock, man.
Well, it's like 8 years of separation between you two. It's 10 years of separation between me and Jake. And then even more between me and you. So it's I
got 12 years on you.
Yeah, I know, it's just crazy, but it works though.
We all still bro down. We all still hang out. We all get along. Like compared to what we've heard from most bands with their horror stories, we get along a-okay.
That's the thing is
even though we have the big age gap or whatever, it's still
pretty cool because like at least from coming out of a sort of place in my life in high school where like I wasn't fitting in with kids my own age because they were listening to like Taylor Swift. I was listening to like rock and metal, and like nobody was like, everybody was like, oh, he's weird. But like I met Lucas because he was like the only other guy in our high school like wearing a Megadeth t-shirt, and I was like, this guy is cool. And then you know, like when Jake and Kellen joined the band, I'm like, oh, these guys are just like me, even though I'm 10 years younger. But like I feel like I'm the same age as them. So I feel like when we're hanging out and when we're writing and we're playing music, we don't even like that. It's not even on our radar. We're just equals, and like it's really good that way. And you know, and we're also like really good friends outside of the band and can just hang and don't have to even think about the band, which is I think the most important thing about being in a band is to actually like the people that you're in a band with. You know, it's definitely very, very important.
Right. Well, it's all about the music, the hang, or the money. So long as you got 2 out of 3.
Yeah, if I'm not making, unless I'm making Nickelback money, if I'm not having a good time, I'm out.
Yeah.
I can definitely relate to the weirdo with the weird music taste.
Yeah.
I was doing one of those you know, it's first day in class in junior high. Let's go around and get to know everybody. Everyone say your name and your favorite band. And here's me, the little baby metalhead, just getting into heavy music. Gets to me, is like, I'm Andrew, and I like Rob Zombie.
Yeah.
And I shit you not, the teacher goes, well, there's no accounting for taste, I guess.
Yeah. But then again, you could say the same about your teacher, though. Yeah. So I mean,
I have no idea what he listened to, but Rob Zombie's cool. No,
oh yeah,
gonna change my mind.
Yeah, exactly, dude. That's the thing about us metalheads, is that we won't take no for an answer. So.
Pretty much, yeah. So I'm going to take a moment to remind the 9 people watching in chat, this is also a fan Q&A. I haven't seen any questions yet come up in the chat. And there is no such thing as a stupid question. Or there is such a thing as a stupid question, but I don't care.
We like the stupid ones.
We like them.
Those are the best ones.
There are no stupid questions, only stupid answers.
Yes.
I mean,
we got lots of those too.
Yeah.
So I hear this isn't the only new release you guys got coming out. You've got a split coming up.
Yes. So our good pals Bill and Corey from Loaded Tape Company asked us to get on this split with one of our favorite bands, Wizard, out of Kalispell, Montana. Sorry. Washington.
And you guys played with them recently.
Yeah.
At
Montvana, and we played with them at Vantopia as well. 2 vanning events.
Yeah,
which was also really cool. Yeah, they're awesome dudes, and we're looking to do more with them. So it was really cool that Bill and Corey asked us to be a part of it. We just we have some.
We were on volume. So this will be the third Loaded Tape Company release. We were on the first one, which was just a big smorgasbord of who's who in like the whole Western Canadian and Northwestern American kind of rock scene. Band and music kind of thing.
Yep.
It was really rad. Side A was all American bands, and then side B was all Canadian bands.
That's a cool way to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'd submitted Spirit Ripper.
Spirit Ripper was on that one, yeah. And then the new volume 3 is there's a couple new songs, and then there's some from 2 or 3 from Heathen and 2 or 3 from Persistence. So there's some older stuff too, stuff that we haven't put out on tape before, and we just thought that it'd be kind of cool instead of just re-releasing the new album to do kind of like a compilation type thing, like greatest hits, even though hits
greatest shits.
Greatest shits.
Wizards. The Wizard side, they're going to be re-releasing their first album. But we figured it'd be best to just do a greatest hits on our side of the tape.
And I think it for people that don't know us, it kind of gives us or gives them a little bit of a brief sort of crash course on sort of our best songs throughout the few albums that we have put out. So
this is Flashback.
Yes, pretty much. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
All right. So I do have a question from chat now.
Oh, sweet.
From Julie Nihil. What does the Draconic Oath mean? I don't know why I can't say that.
Oath.
Well, remember the working title?
What was the
working title?
Oh, we were just like mashing the songs together.
It safe for work?
It's safe for work.
Oh, okay.
It is safe for work. But we were just like, it kind of sounds like Power Trip mixed with the sword. So we were like, it's called Power Sword.
Okay, yeah.
So
that's how that came in.
So I do. Okay, this is ringing a bell now. So the first track that we wrote off of the record was Draconic Oath, the first track. And we like wrote the music, and we were just like, let's just beat the sword right now and Power Trip and do something really thrashy and heavy and fast. And then we were like, Power Sword. And then actually I wrote that into the lyrics. The last line is just by the Holy Power Sword. And then we just the whole sword theme, I don't know, kind of stuck because it's on the album art. And we have a t-shirt design with it on it and stuff in the logo. The Draconic Oath was just sort of it kind of means a multitude of things.
It's got nothing to do with dragons.
No, I never intended it to be that way. I just sort of as a loose concept, it was sort of like especially relating to what we went through with the pandemic, it was just like, this thing has hit us, and it's kind of like a death sentence, even though it's not a death sentence, but that's what it felt like in the moment, where you're like, no matter what side you were on, you were scared and didn't know what was happening, and people were lashing out at other people for no reasons, going to supermarkets and buying
all the toilet
paper. And it was just like, I saw through my eyes humanity in a way that I haven't seen him before, in the sense that it was very much people were scrambling no matter what side you were on. People were not it was the most unsure as a people that we've ever been, and so it was sort of like a commentary as like a social experiment, basically on a group of people who have been like issued this sort of like death sentence ish. But I mean, obviously, like my opinion of that has changed because we're sort of back to regular life now, knock on wood. But at the same time, when we were in the thick of it, we didn't really know what to think or feel, and so it was like, I had my opinions, and a lot of people had very strong opinions, but I was just sort of trying to be objective in the sense that it was just interesting to see how we were all reacting, because we were all reacting in the same way, at least through my eyes, but we were just sort of reacting about different things, and that's when the sort of divide kind of comes in. But that's kind of a loose concept of kind of what I wanted the album, and there's themes of that throughout the record in the lyrics, especially too. Spirit Ripper talks a lot about that, actually.
Lourdes as well.
And Lourdes is kind of about escaping it and about sort of finding tranquility and other things,
aka piss leg.
Well, and that was actually a big part of the reason why making this record was so cathartic, is because we were sort of in the middle of it, and we were like, we need to get out of here and get out of town and not piss leg. And I think that it was really good for our mental health to go out there and just to record the record and have fun and just have drinks.
In the jam room. It's like, I'm only allowed to see like 4 people. So might as well be making music with those 4 people.
So I mean, that's kind of what it's loosely about, and it's I don't want it to take a political stance, because I feel like that's not my place, and I feel like there's enough of that already in the media. I think that it was sort of an objective look at what was going on, and you can sort of interpret it however you see fit.
Draconic more in like the draconian, like old sense of the word. It has nothing to do with
dragons,
fantasy lizards.
No. And I think that's what people will assume when they hear it. I mean, and then they're like, why is there a space chick with a sword on the album cover? There's no dragon. I know. So that's kind of why
the first draft of the album art was definitely full of dragons, and
we're like, this is too D&D for us.
Bit on the nose.
So
not that this one's not very D&D,
but it's like cool D&D.
Okay, and there's another question from chat: are bell bottoms mandatory, and how many do you each have?
When I joined the band, I was told, yes, you can join the band, but you need bell bottoms. And then Aiden gave me an old pair of his that I was able to use until I was able to purchase my own.
I think I have 4 pairs, 4 pairs. I don't know why we started doing it. I was just like, oh, this looks cool. I think it was
flashback.
It was inspired actually kind of by Church of Misery a little bit, because I saw Church of Misery at Dickens, and I was like, oh, this band is amazing.
Church of Misery, Electric Wizards.
Just that kind of old school like 70s sort of vibe. I just really like that aesthetic, and so we just kind of adopted it.
It works with like the vintage gear aspect too, because we all have a lot of vintage gear, so it is kind of like a flashback.
It's all
to
vintage gear pretty much.
My amps are from the 70s.
Well, that's why
74 and 72. I think.
Yeah, my drums are from the 70s.
And like I think that's why like the Spirit Ripper video sort of looked like it could have come out of that time too. Is like we kind of put in the thought to make sure that it looked period correct, if you want to say that. The bell bottoms are definitely a big part of our sort of image and look and stuff. So
I have like 3 pairs, and I know Kellen is known as the striped pants guy.
I only have 2. I only have 2 pair, but I have the most famous pair in the band, apparently.
Well, besides me with my purple paisley ones.
You're hiding behind a kit, though.
I know nobody sees it, but whenever he wears those goddamn striped pants, every show he gets comments, and people will just like come from the back of the bar if they see his pants, be like, I love your pants. And we're like, what about the set we just played? Like, like, come on now. Like, I'm glad you like the pants.
It's a blessing and a curse. I don't know. I do think that it's good for bands to have a gimmick,
an
I
image,
suppose.
A shtick.
A shtick. And our shtick is silly pants and kick-ass music. And, there's worse shticks to be had.
And we have fun on stage, so it works.
For sure.
Nice. We're working on a Madcap sponsorship.
I wish.
They're a company out of the UK that we buy probably half the pants in the band are from those guys.
No, we're actually not But if Madcap, if you're watching this, send us pants.
Yeah, we'll jam for pants.
Yeah. But they're expensive when you start. When you're like, oh, I don't want people to think I'm a bum. I want to have like different pants for every show, and then you end up wearing the same thing anyways. And then I'm like, oh, nobody notices that I wore this shirt last show, but it just happens that way.
No, and I don't know. It's just one more thing to like. You'll remember you had a good time, but then you'll remember the bands that like, oh yeah, it was the guys with the crazy pants. Like
that's the other thing too.
Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, for sure. So numerous times throughout this interview, we have brought up the topic of vans.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Between the four of you, how many vans do you have at your disposal?
I guess four.
Four?
I know for a fact you have two.
I have two vans. Well, one's a work van, but honestly, the work van's almost better for moving gear because I've got a 93 Dodge B250 it's got like some carpet and some shag, and it's actually a machine that brought me to 3 out of the 4 music festivals I've been to in the last 4 weeks. And I love my Donna van. I worship my van, but
is that what that means?
Yes,
that's how you say it.
I mean, you can interpret that the way that you want to.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got the 2 vans, but like the work van is awesome because it's just super empty. So like at work, I can just throw all my crap in it. But my actual van is I can like when we went out to record the album, I shoved my Ampeg 810 fridge in there. I shoved my acoustic 215 in there, 3 bass amps, 2 bass guitars, like a bunch of pedals. Plus,
we basically had a van for like each. So like one van was like the guitar van, one van was the drums van, and one van was the bass van.
It's like, slow down. This isn't the Taylor Swift tour yet.
Yeah. Well, we're trying.
She's got what, like 26 semis or something?
Oh,
Yeah.
But yeah, like his work van is kind of in the same vein as my van. Like he has a GMC Safari. I have the Chevy Astro, which are like
yours is way nicer than mine. Yeah. Mine's not the Grand Touring edition.
Well, I did have
luxury touring.
Yeah, I guess both of mine were luxury touring. I did have an old Astro. That was the first gen, kind of like his GMC, but my current van is a Chevy Astro, the second gen. It's like luxury touring. I got a little lift kit on it with a roof rack, so it's great for camping. Like I bring that to Vantopia and just roll out some sleeping bags, and I'm good for that. But like it got us to Vancouver at least when we went on tour.
Yeah, you guys had a van breakdown on that trip.
Yeah, that was mine.
That was his.
It was right at the ferry terminal. My starter died.
This van's so good.
That's why you always bring a spare van.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what we did, and that's what Jake did with his. He has like a
late 80s GMC Vandura. I don't know the exact year. It's either like in 87.
I think it's 87.
87, I think.
But his van's really cool. And then I don't want to talk about my vehicle situation because I don't have a van. So
saving up.
I drive a Nissan Xterra. Yeah.
Party hard.
Well, I call it the Sexterra. So I mean that's there's something to be said there. Hopefully that was okay for stream. Well, yeah. Who do you think I am? No, I really want a van. It's not been a realized sort of thing for me yet. I have to get there, but it's gonna happen.
But Jake's also part of a van club too,
I've also been around vans since the inception of this band, pretty much. Well, at least, pretty much.
I mean, you're
from
playing
the inception.
You're playing Vantopia. You're playing Mont Vanna. Jake's in a van club.
Yeah.
Like the first van that I took these guys to band practice in high school was my Chevy Astro. So
nice.
And
those which are real vans.
They are vans.
Yeah.
They're minivans, but they are vans.
No, it's still on a truck frame. It's a real van.
Yeah.
It's not like a Windstar or something.
But people are always like, you always have to have a G20 or a tradesman or like or an Econoline.
Oh yeah, they say
but
that.
Astros and Safaris are real vans.
Yeah, and like we were just down in Mont Vanna and Queen of the Vans.
Yeah.
Where were they driving? An Astro.
First gen Astro.
Yeah, she had a wicked Astro. Like this is one of the biggest people in vanning, and I don't know. Yeah, Astros are real vans.
My mom back in the day drove a Chevy Astro. I love telling you, your van's cool now.
Yeah, so cool.
Well, we got stopped yesterday.
Back then.
We got stopped yesterday. We were out running errands, and some guy just like stopped us when we were leaving the parking lot, being like, "What year's your van?" Like,
this
is my van.
He's like, "This is the best vehicle I ever had, my Astro."
They're great, man.
Yeah,
they work.
Yeah, but they're they're not making new ones.
No,
so.
no, and the price is only going up.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, we love playing those van events because I don't know, it's just people are real.
It's a party,
and yeah, those vanners know how to party.
Yeah, I've heard it described as not so much a music festival; it is a private party you can buy tickets to.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
well,
that's
Vantopia
more
definitely.
accurate, yeah.
Montvana was definitely more laid back, which
very much.
I appreciated, but like it was still awesome. We
it
got
was
to.
Great.
Yeah, I went there on the Wednesday, a little early, but Friday night there was just one band, albeit they played for like 2.5 hours. Badger Hound. They were like wicked country bands out from I don't know where in Montana they are, but they're friends with Bill. They got they have at least one van in that band, and then we got to play the Saturday night. It was our first time playing out of Canada, and. Yeah, we got to open the night. It was us and then Wizard.
Yep, and then Year of the Cobra.
Year of the Cobra.
They blew my mind.
They were amazing.
They blew my mind. They were so good.
Yeah, wicked two-piece doom band. She doesn't play bass. She wields molten lava.
Yeah.
And they're Rickenbacker into 2 pedal boards into 2 full bass stacks.
Yeah,
it was just,
yeah. And they're husband and wife, correct?
I do believe so.
Yeah, which is also super
and they
cool.
Showed up in a van.
Yeah,
so
wicked.
All the
van.
bands did too.
Yeah.
So
no, Bill from Glacier Van Club, he runs an amazing fest. I highly recommend it. You can make it down to Libby, Montana.
Absolutely. It was a fun time.
Montana.
Libby.
All right. On the topic of festivals, if you guys could play any music festival in the whole wide world, we're talking about pipe dreams here. Well, there it is. I'd say,
please.
Yeah, I'd say like 90% of the time when I ask that question, it's Vakken.
Yeah,
People bring up Vakken. Yeah.
Vakken.
Lucas yearns for the mud again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so bad. But yeah, I've heard like the 3. I forget what the third big one was, but I know like Vakken and like Hellfest are like one of the 2 biggest European.
Hellfest is definitely
fest.
Bigger than Vakken. It doesn't have the legacy, but yeah, Hellfest has like almost double. I think they've surpassed double the attendance.
Our when I went there, the driver for Riot City was saying that like last year for Hellfest, their total attendance was 420,000.
Holy crap!
Yeah,
that's I don't even think I've seen that many people.
That's a small city at that point.
Yeah.
But I think for attainable fest at this point, I know we really want to play Armstrong Metal Fest.
Armstrong was
awesome.
awesome.
Would be very attainable.
Yeah,
and Massive too.
Massive Fest in Nelson.
Okay. Also very attainable. I mean, like that's not fair though. That's like somebody saying like, "Who's your hall pass?"
This is sort of like
picking like Steve from accounting.
Yeah. This is sort of like pipe dream. I think for me, if I was to choose one, I mean, it's hard to choose all of them.
If they did a Psycho Las Vegas, but instead it was Psycho Cruise,
I
would do that.
I would still just say Psycho Las Vegas in general because the lineup is usually next to none. Like they are usually have one of the best lineups, and the fact that it's in Vegas, which is one of my favorite places.
Yeah, it's
is awesome.
pretty bonkers, and it usually sells out before they even announce.
Yes,
honestly,
it does.
For me, okay, if we're talking realistically, like
for Flashback,
Desert Fest London.
Camden
Town there, that would be rad as hell.
That would be a dream.
Desert Fest London or Desert Fest Brazil, or actually Duna Jam would be cool. Whoa,
Duna Jam actually would be really cool.
Just playing on a
we're
beach
gonna have
in
multiple
Italy,
answers, but that's
go.
also a really cool thing as well. Just scenery of different festivals when you're not in a venue and you're outside on a beach is pretty sweet. So
All right, last question because we're coming up to the end of the hour here, and it's from chat. The album art is rad. Will it be printed on any merch?
I hope so.
It'll be eventually the album art will be on some vinyl records. We're not sure when, but it will happen.
It will happen. We are not going to say no.
That's one you put up on the wall.
Well, the wall. Yeah, I don't know. Doing some flags would be pretty rad.
Flags would be cool. I would like to do some shirts.
Even some screen printed posters would be pretty rad.
That would be really cool.
Is too cool to not.
I mean, this is not quite 2-color. It's a bit more than that.
Well, the original's in black and white, and it's digitally colored.
Yeah.
So
you can make it 2-3
Yeah,
colors.
we actually have the original now, which is really cool. Hard copy.
Nice.
Yeah, I guess to anybody that's out there, if you have ideas for us, let us know what you want. Because we
Frisbees.
Yeah, well,
Floatable
within
frisbees.
reason that you think people will buy. Because sometimes we're
Grinders.
like, what do people want? You know, so it's cool to kind of hear from everybody else too. So if anybody is listening and has a merch idea, make sure to hit us up.
I know the one thing too is that when we got some shirts made for when we went out to BC, the 4 of us got some special ones made. They're like burgundy hoodies with that logo in white across. Yeah. And I've had so many people come up to me being like, I want that as
it's my favorite hoodie.
Like I want to buy that for merch. So I think we should do that at some point.
That'd be really cool.
Maybe flashback on the front, the artwork on the back. That would
be cool.
That'd
just
be
like
really
chick
cool.
with the sword.
It'd be cool doing zip hoodies because we've only done pullovers too. Yeah. And have like the logo on the arm and then album art on the back or something.
Yeah, big flag would be rad.
Yeah,
it's definitely an option.
Well, we're gonna figure stuff out. We're gonna be playing some more shows and raising money for printing some records.
Hopefully, get on the road soon. We're everything's in the works right now. We sort of released the record before we kind of had everything figured out to a T, but we're sort of in that stage now, and we're gonna get on the road. We're gonna get out of Calgary. We're gonna go play in Calgary. We're gonna play everywhere. This is not The Last of Us. We are going to be in your town, hopefully, and hopefully playing some riffs and destroying your eardrums. So,
absolutely. The eardrums are the enemy. They must be destroyed.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming on, guys. This is a great interview. Everyone out there in Twitch land, make sure you go check out the Draconic Oath. Like I said, it is available now on Bandcamp and wherever your streams are strummed. If you like your face meltier than a cheese pizza on the surface of Mercury, definitely got to check it out. Tune in next week. We've actually got another interview lined up before this one was even started. We're going to have the dudes from Moments Fest come in. We're going to talk about the festival that's coming up in about 3 weeks or so. It's going to be out on the Siksika Nation. And if you have never been to Moments Fest, it is the most bang for your buck you are ever going to get. And that venue is gorgeous. So without further ado, this has been the Analog Universe. Please subscribe so that you can catch next week's episode. And good night.